And now we desperately hope that Streamlabs has actually worked this time. Hello, hello, hello everybody. How are we all doing? And welcome to the stream where we have a fair bit of interesting news to discuss, specifically surrounding the potential signing of Noah Okafor to Leeds United. Noah Okafor being a winger that is currently playing at AC Milan and has been sort of angling for a move recently. So, for example, in I believe it was January, he was pushing his way towards a sort of Bundesliga direction. In the time since, he's been sort of looking for a move somewhere. It was just a sort of question of where he would end up rather than will he end up somewhere. And specifically, it looks like it is going in the direction of Okafor to Leeds. The specific source on this one, if I have a little bit of a zoom in, is going to be someone that you very, very probably haven't specifically heard of. And that is because he's an Italian journalist. And let's be honest, we're not going to know that many Italian journalists. After all, we are, for the most part in this chat at the very least, British, and the British aren't very good at looking outside of Britain a lot of the time. But the source on this is Luca Bianchin, who is a journalist at La Gazzetta dello Sport. La Gazzetta dello Sport being a relatively consistent and accurate source when it comes to transfer stuff, especially in Italy, because that's what they specialise in. They're in Italy, therefore they're going to know more about Italian football. In terms of reliability, again, I've had a little bit of a chat with the Italy team at the Zone. Have said, does he know his stuff? And the general gist is absolutely he does. He knows what sort of is going on at any given moment, which is absolutely wonderful. And specifically, he states that Leeds have reached an agreement on the contract with Noah Okafor. Negotiations are accelerating. Now, this will be negotiations for the fee with AC Milan rather than negotiations with Noah Okafor on the contract, because if we've reached an agreement, then any negotiation is going to be with the only remaining party that we don't have an agreement with yet. Leeds aim to finalise a permanent deal. Milan have not yet said yes and are considering. Very, very, very interesting, because the way that it's looking at the moment is that we've got a sort of rough idea of how much we are willing to spend. They've got an idea of what they particularly want, and we'll be trying to meet somewhere in the middle where the two overlap. It's going to be a big Venn diagram, I believe, of what the various clubs want to pay. We have had a little bit of news specifically surrounding the estimated fee for Noah Okafor as well, with the numbers sort of hovering in the 12 to 15 million pounds territory. I heard from someone that we have bid 15 million euros, which translates to roughly that 12 million pounds, which would make sense. Not Juve, sorry, thanks Brian. Milan have reportedly turned that one down because they don't believe that that's enough. They want a little bit more than that. And ultimately, I think they will get a little bit more than that. I think it will push towards the 15 million pound range, but I think for that it is a very, very, very good deal. Noah Okafor is one of those players where a couple of years ago, absolutely everybody was looking at him and going, this guy is really good already, and his ceiling is going to be absolutely ridiculous. So, wonder kid material. However, in the years since, he's been in sort of difficult positions. So, for example, at AC Milan, you have a look at their squad. So, someone mentioned that they're playing tonight, and I believe they are in the Coppa Italia. Was it against? It wasn't Como. It's a relatively short team. Barry, that's it. There we go. But they're playing against Barry in the Coppa Italia. And you just sort of have to look at the way that AC Milan are playing to say that, oh yeah, that's why he doesn't fit. So a lot of people just typically will go, oh, he's not playing that, therefore he's not good enough. And, oh, he's not going to make the step up from Serie A, he's barely even playing in Serie A. But if you have a look at the squad, down the left-hand side, which from our perspective is the right-hand side, they've got Pavlovic, that's fine, he's a centre-back, they play with three centre-backs, but that complicates things anyway, because when you've got three centre-backs, your winger isn't a proper out-and-out winger in a way. They're sort of, you've got a left wing-back and then a left inside forward, which means that there's not really space for that traditional, I will just take on my man and then put the ball into the box winger, which I think is roughly the category that Okafor fits a little bit more nicely into. Instead, they've got Estepinian, who they signed this season, I believe, from, was it Brighton? Might have been Brighton. but he's playing as effectively that left wing back role, and they've got Rafa Leão. And in all likelihood, you may have heard quite a lot of things about Rafa Leão, and that is because he's a ridiculously good footballer. Therefore, Okafor has struggled to get into the side, which meant that if anyone has looked at his numbers, they tend to have gone, well, he's very clearly not good enough. Why would we want to sign someone that's not even getting into the sort of Serie A team? And the reason is because he's still a pretty damn good player. If I go to Napoli as another example, where he spent the back half of last season. Let's pick something. Napoli Cagliari as an example. We just want an idea of what their squad looks like. So in this case, you're up against Raspadori, who is a ridiculously good footballer. Politano is another wing option. Who came on for Raspadori? It doesn't tell me. David Neres, another player that's fantastic out wide. And if I remember right, so is Simeone, but I might be thinking of the wrong player. He plays as a striker, but even then, part of that attacking unit. The issue with his minutes isn't an issue with him particularly, it's an issue with he's going to sides that have ridiculously deep squads. So he arrives, tries to push his way in, turns out he's not better than Rafa Leão, and people look at that and go, clearly this guy isn't a good footballer, when I think that is the wrong take that we're all getting from it, which is a little bit of a shame. On the question that Pierre asked a minute ago up here, for me, yes, I looked at El Canoes yesterday, it was rather slow and ineffective, that's my personal choice. I'm going to do something on El Canoes potentially in the morning, because I've got a nice little nugget of information that is from a very, very interesting place, but I want to verify it with other people and make sure that everything sort of adds up and it's all pointing in the right direction and I'm not accidentally doing misleading things like I did with the Simicast thing. So I want to be 100% certain that what I'm being told and the questions that I'm asking lead to answers that are actually like accurate for what the real world is looking like right now, if that makes sense. But there are various El Canusi bits. Good signing for me. This lad was going to come last time we were in the top flight, but got relegated. He knows what Leeds Football Club's all about. Dublin, you must tell what a fan base. That's another good advantage, right? Because we managed to see him in Dublin a lot of the time. Good evening, Lord Shiogorath. So getting both then. It's not that direction of information, but I will get to that in a video potentially for the morning if I'm able to get a little bit of more knowledge from who I'm having a bit of a natter with. But we did manage to see Noah Okafor in pre-season in that match against AC Milan, and I think he looked genuinely very impressive. It's quite hard to get an idea of just how good he is because he was up against Isaac Schmidt, and as we know, Isaac Schmidt was fairly consistently one of those players that we looked at and went, you're definitely a footballer. But that's fine, because even so, he looked very, very, very talented independently rather than very, very talented in comparison to someone else, which is a really nice spot to be in, I think. What's happened, Jordan, is Leeds have reportedly, according to Luca Bianchin of Gazzetta del Sport, we've reportedly agreed personal terms with Noah Okafor, which is a very, very, very nice move. Rough estimate is going to be £15 million plus, because apparently we've already bid 12 and it's been rejected, but we'll find out where that ends up. There was earlier conversation in the window of 20, but I don't know if that's going to be a realistic sum, because that's a little bit on the high side. Maybe £18 million, which makes it about 20 million euros, but Bury FC. No, Barry. The town in Wales, not the town near Manchester. In fact, no, we can't watch Okafor because he's not starting. Ah, well, that's okay then. Really wants to get Noah. I'd be happy with him and Solomon and a fullback. You want 2 wingers? That's a lot of wingers. Then put more effort into offloading people. I don't think we need another 2 wingers. I'd be happy with 1. But Barry who? Exactly. Barry Bannon. We're signing Barry Bannon. That's what we're doing. And there will be no further questions because Barry Bannon is the player that's on the way in. Please no. That would be the worst thing possible. Has he actually agreed to sign from a very, very reliable source? I say very, very. I'll stick with one very. From a very reliable source, yes, he's agreed personal terms with Leeds United. The issue is on the other side, which is... Have I accidentally scratched my nose again? No. Sorry, ignore this. It's not a spot. It was like a blackhead thing that started bleeding, and it's causing more problems. You get funnier every time, Timmy. So would he fit if we got El Canus also? I mean, he'd fit. I don't know if he'd reliably be the sort of player that you need in the event that we got El Canus. I think if we get one of them, we don't necessarily need the other because they can both do really creative stuff. On the James Justin thing, there is a chance that we are potentially less looking at him, or at least we're waiting for a little bit more sort of evidence on it. The initial thing that I saw surrounding James Justin was that it was more a dead leg than anything that was more severe. So hopefully it's more like that and we end up completing that signing rather than anything else. Is that dripping the blood? No, it's not actually. Right, okay, that's fine. That's good. I just want to make sure it's not causing problems. Yeah, it's okay, Slink. It's fine. Again, just like disagreement of opinion isn't like... It's okay. Another forward's the tricky one. There's just not many decent nines available at the moment. I think there are. I think... I'm trying... Right, okay. So this is where we get a little bit complicated. And I'm very, very quickly going to ask you guys a quick poll. Video for that morning. Because I've got two potential videos. Or do I do it? So, do we do... Or do we do... I've forgotten how to spell that, have I? No, I've not. Cool. Okay, so I've got a couple of potential things I could do the video on tomorrow morning, and it's sort of up to you which way I go on it. The only issue is that I tend to keep bumping into is I'll do a video on a person, and then I'll be like, oh, I don't want to do another video on this guy for like 2-3 days because it feels like I'm just talking about the same thing again and again and again, and it gets boring. So I don't want to do both because then I can't talk about either for a bit, which is a little bit of a problem. I think it adds a little bit of complication. You fuckers with the double feature one video. How dare you? Leeds very busy in the transfer market. Lots of options. Looks like another striker, attacking mid-winger and wing-back cover. Yeah, that's the rough way that I'm thinking. Was Okafor the guy wearing green boots in Dublin? I will double check for you. No, it was in white boots. I know this because I've just opened Getty Images and I've searched Noah Okafor, but he was the one that spent a hell of a lot of time effectively terrorising Isaac Schmidt, which I think was a very, very nice move. We have 23 in the Premier League squad now. 2 more will be our maximum allocation. Someone's going to be moved on to find room for the plan 3 incomings. Yes, there were rumours surrounding Ilham Mellier's departure earlier today. Ilham Mellier has been linked with Lorient, which I think would be a reasonable move for him. It's a side where he has been in the past. He's probably a decent standard of player for them, and he can rebuild his confidence and sort of make sure that everything's doing okay. In addition, Ioannidis. I thought it was Ioannidis. Ioannidis? I think so. Yeah, Ilham Mellier will likely head over to someone like Lorient. He will be able to find a move. That takes someone else out of the squad. In addition to that, Schmidt is going to be on the way out once we sort out that backup fullback. In addition to that, I don't know if you can hear the car alarm that's going off in the background. If so, sorry about that. But in addition to that, you've got the likes of Bamford, who will also be heading out, and various other players. Like, we will be fine. It's not going to be an issue. In addition to that, I've seen a couple of people being a little bit worried about that squad size thing, and they will put forward a big old list of players and be like, we need to register all of these guys. Not true. If I remember right, if someone is under the age of 21, you don't need to register them at the start of a season. So there's various players that I've seen on these lists that are like, oh, we're going to have to register this player in time. We're not. It's okay. So I think Nonto is just about too old. But Nonto is an example that I've seen on those lists. I've occasionally seen Harry Gray on those lists, and it's like, no, he's just a youth player. You don't need to register him. It's fine. But that's just to sort of clean that one up and make sure. Not counting Schmidt, Melier, Bamford, or Greenwood in the 23, aren't you? Shit, who else is in the 23 then? Odds are, I don't know. Melier, pronounced Melier. You're welcome. Thank you, Lord Shiogorath. I appreciate that. Didn't know you lived in Liverpool. No, but close enough. Blackpool. So, functionally the same place, I suppose. I'm trying to work out how you got that high with the 23, though. Sort of impressive. Confused. Low sound, is it? To everyone, if the sound is a little bit low, can you put... In fact, if the sound is normal, can you put a 1 in the chat? If the sound is a bit low, can you put a 2 in the chat? Just to make sure that everything is working completely fine. So 1 is good, 2 is a bit quiet, if that's okay. It's a little bit easier than just sort of asking, is the sound good? And then it all sort of works out. That's a hell of a lot of 1s, so I will take it. Thank you very much. You guys seem to want the double feature in one video, so I will do that. I'll have to work out a way to thumbnail it so it works, but we'll have to see. Let's end the poll. That's a lot of 1s. Thank you, guys. What do you say, Joe? I can't hear you. Okafor might have personal terms with Leeds United. Hope that was okay, Dave. If he's the guy I think he is, it's my Blade supporter who was with me, I'd love if he signed him. I think he might be. If he was the guy on the left wing that kept on skinning Isaac Schmidt, then he was very, very probably the same guy. Which is a pretty damn good sign. I am doing the thing where I'm over-reading into something. But that's okay, because we all do that sometimes. But this specific thing, I think, is worth reading into. And it was the hype video that was posted earlier by the club. If you've not seen it, by the way, incredible video. Keep an eye on it, because very, very good. But said video, which is very much like, we're all Leeds, we're all together, let's get this fucking done kind of energy, seems to be, and this clearly isn't something that has been said by the club, you need to make sure that this is going out on all platforms and all this kind of stuff. No. This is a case of, off his own back, Largy's given it a cheeky little retweet, which for me is a very, very promising sign that he's going to be sticking around. Because if he was leaving, he's not exactly going to be retweeting something that's like, we're all Leeds. If he was potentially leaving, let's keep it muted so I'm not going to get copyright killed. Have I missed his bit? Yeah, if he was potentially leaving, and I'm Largy Ramazani, I'm not going to go, yeah, you know, I'll do a nice pose at the media day. The media day, by the way, being approximately at the same time that there were rumours of him potentially going out on loan. There's no chance at that same media day, if there was a reasonable chance that he's going off to Rangers, that he goes, let's find out what he said in particular. There's no way that you're just sort of glazing the club and being like, oh, it's the craziest stadium I've ever played at. If you're about to be leaving, that feels like a very, very weird one. And we've not got the same sort of retweets and stuff coming out of everyone else. So that makes me a little bit happy that Largy is potentially going to be sticking around. I think Largy's going to be one of those wing options. I don't know if Harrison sticks around as like a potential like hovering kind of player. I'm not entirely sure what his role is going to be looking forward into the season, but we'll find out. Someone's just sent me the squaddy list, which is interesting. Very much Byron Goodmanson. Trying to do the numbers in my head. Hang on. I'll look for Premier League squad registration rules and I'll get back to you in a moment. Because I don't want to accidentally find myself lying to you guys. That's not what we do around these parts. We focus on the sort of the nice little chatty vibes and stuff. Imagine Harrison in the video speaking about what it means to be Leeds. Yeah, this was interesting. So the players that are linked with a move away, like your Schmidts, like your Bamfords, like your Meliers, would kept well away from the video, which I found interesting. Squad of up to 25 players, with a maximum of 17 non-homegrown players. Players under 21. Players under the age of 21 can be included in the squad list in addition to the 25 without being counted against the limit as long as they've been at the club for 2 years between the ages of 15 and 21. So, let's have a think who in our squad is really, really young and see if they are potentially going to be freebies under the registration rules. I'm not 100% sure that I will find anyone, but it's worth a look. Jez mate got an update. What are you on about? Jez mate got an update. Are you just calling me Jez mate? Because that, I mean, I'll take it. Like, no, I got a friend, but I'll take it. Mahadi is keeper. Yes, but well, that makes it interesting, doesn't it? Because I don't know if hold on. I'll try transfer marks because that tends to be quite good on ages. Because FBRF doesn't have it yet because we've not played a match yet, so it's not got an idea of who our squad is yet, which makes it annoying. Let's just go to the Premier League. No, we won't. Let's go to specifically Leeds. Cool. Squad detailed, please. Right, date of birth. Oh, that's harsh. Nonto is a single month away from us being able to register him for free. 1 month. Bastard. JB would be allowed, but that's a shame. Joey, completely kidding. Get serious about this Barry Bannon. He's not on Leeds radar, nor is he signing. Oh man, I was really excited, looking forward to signing Barry Bannon. That's a shame. Ah well, it'll be fine. By the way, I've just realised I've not no reliable source on BB. What? Who are we calling BB? Oh, I don't know. It's Phil down the pub. We're not signing Barry Bannon. It's okay. We're fine. We're all good. We can't drop Cairns as he's needed for the English player quota. I don't believe he is. So looking at the nationalities in the squad, I'll sort by squad number. It's trained in English and Welsh clubs, if I remember right, and you need to have spent like 3 years there maybe. Sorry, I've got hiccups and it is a nightmare. Bogle counts. Ampadu counts. I believe Pascal Strout counts, but I'm not going to add him to the list just in case. Rodon counts, James counts, Longstaff counts. Calvert-Lewin counts. We're already at 6. Largy counts because he was part of Scum's Academy. Metcher, I think, was part of the City Academy, so there's your 8. Like, because it's not a case of are they English, it's a case of did they come through an English or Welsh system. Had our 8, but also if it comes to it, you've got Cairns. Cairns is 9. Byram, 10. Darlow, 11. Who else do we have on that list? Harrison doesn't count. But that's fine, because we're already at 11. So 11 will do the job. We've got more than enough players that are English-Welsh to count. Don't think Pascal counts. It was 18.5 when he joined. In that case, he doesn't count. But that's okay, because we've got more than enough. I'm not counting anyone that is under the age of 21, because you don't register them on your squad list. You can just like have them as freebies, whereas they have to be part of that 25 to count towards that quota. So I would have counted Harry Gray, I would have counted Sam Chambers, I would have counted, well, I wouldn't have counted Howson because Howson is never going to be part of one of our senior squads. But you don't need to because that's not quite how that specific rule works. Hope Okafor is at the game tomorrow. He'll sign straight away after seeing the atmosphere. It'd be lovely if he was. I would be surprised because he is currently with AC Milan, which is a little bit of an issue, I think. Hang on. Cool. Yeah, where was I? Sorry, I was reading a list. Where's the brain gone? Oh, that's not good. I don't know. I'll find it. It's okay. Yeah, I know Barry Bannon's not on our radar. It's fine. It's okay. I was doing a joke. AC Milan fan saying he has a poor injury history. I don't think that's necessarily the case. So if I have a quick look, and I will pull it up on screen. Keeping in mind, I don't actually know what his injury history is, so I could look a little bit of a twat right now. But I think it's worth like looking into, making sure that we've got all the information, all that kind of stuff. So, what it's looking like to me, to you, to me, to you, etc., etc. Send one up. Paul Chuckle or Barry. I can't remember which it was. I think it was Paul. I don't know. But here's his injury history. In which, last season, he had a few issues. However, this one's a head injury. You can't really blame him. Muscle fatigue, hamstring injury, unknown injury, etc., etc., etc. We'll go through last season, in which it was a case of had some muscular problems. That's fine. You can have issues like cramps, things like that. You can't exactly blame him for a fever, because that one is just something that's going to happen to you. Like, if you get a fever, it's not particularly your fault. Cheeky little bit of lumbago. Okay, that's not great. And my feeling is this string of injuries here is going to be injured, agitated, agitated. So, for example, these two coming right off the back of one another, ish, tells me that that is probably the same thing that's plaguing him and is the sort of thing that will definitely show up in a medical. And if it's still an issue in a medical, then we don't sign him. But if we don't see anything, we're not gonna like run away from a deal purely because we're like, yeah, but what if? Because there's so many players in the world of football where you could realistically say, what if the bad thing happens? To just not sign them. And I think that would be a mistake from our perspective. How many years left on his contract? I don't know off the top of my head. Let's have a look at your profile. His contract expires in 3 years' time. However, AC Milan are sort of looking for an exit. That's why they sent him out on loan to Napoli recently, which I think is probably fair enough. Played against us the other week and he's on the bench tonight. He is indeed on the bench tonight, so I might have to give that a little bit of a look. DCL got sorted, Okafor gets sorted. I think so. Do you think it happens if I've seen Jer's tweet? No, but I will see Jer's tweet. I do think it happens as well. I think with the various bits and bobs that I've heard over the day, Okafor is looking very likely to be an option. Jer saying getting closer, exciting player. Yeah, I agree. He's a very he's a direct attacking kind of player that's going to cause other sides quite a few problems. And I think people's assessment of him as someone that isn't immediately getting minutes is a little bit premature and is causing a few little issues for the way that people are looking at him. Which, I mean, that's fine. That's going to happen from time to time. But ultimately, we want to be sort of landing in a spot of viewing him for who he is, rather than viewing him for the players that he's competing with to get into a squad. If it is an issue, that doesn't necessarily mean we don't sign him, as the medical is a risk assessment as to how fit he's going to be over the course of his contract. Yeah, I mean, he will still occasionally have injuries, right? I'm not approaching this in a completely like naive manner where I'm saying like, oh, he's going to be injury proof, he's going to be 100% fine all of the time. That's not going to happen. Like, even the best of medicals isn't going to stop all injuries. However, it's going to bring up an idea of, is this a worthwhile signing? So I think it's going to be effectively fine, you know? Joe's mate knows Okafor, doesn't he? So Joe gets some updates on it. Who are we calling Joe's mate? I'm a little bit confused here. And James Justin. James Justin, I believe his injury was something of a dead leg rather than anything more serious, but at the same time, I've seen a little bit of a link between us and I think it was Anthony Catchy, which would be a pretty damn good move. Like, let's just quickly pull him up. Is it Anthony? It is Anthony. Currently at Mainz, or Mainz, however you want to say it. Who is, again, fitting into the category of player that we're looking at right now. 28 years old, 6'1", that kind of makes sense. Who has tweeted about it? It was, I've forgotten the guy's name, Luca Bianchin, who works for Gazzetta del Sport, which is pretty damn promising because he's one of their Milan journalists, which means that he's going to know stuff, which is quite good. Jasmine, the first new messenger giving info, and like, oh, right, okay, yeah, got you. Okay, I know what you mean. Sorry, it's been a heck of a day. Clickbait if I've ever seen it until they pull the white shirt over their heads. Right, okay, just bringing attention to this one right here. Yeah, this one. Okay, this is where right. If you're new here, welcome. Pop a like on the stream. That'd be lovely. Subscribe as well. That'd be fantastic. I'm trying to get like to maybe 8K by like it's not going to be by the end of the window. That'd be a bit too quick. I'm trying to get to 8K by like I don't know December. I don't know. I've not decided yet. But this is where I've got to be completely plain about what the word clickbait actually means. Clickbait is where you just invent a thing, right? It's just you make things up. There's nothing is real. When you've got journalists that are pretty highly renowned journalists saying this guy's agreed personal terms with Leeds United, I'm tempted to believe it. Because, you know, that's what journalism is. Journalism is discovery of the truth when it might not necessarily be in the form of a press release. Timmy, fuck off. That's where I made a mistake. I'm aware of this. But in this like specific instance, if you're saying it doesn't count until like they're actively wearing the shirt of the club, at that point, why are you even watching like newsy videos? Why are you even on YouTube? At that point, you should just sit there with the club's website open, pressing F5, because the only thing that will count for you is a press release from the club saying we've signed him. Yeah, that's when it gets to be official. But at the same time, Daniel Farker announced the signing of Dominic Calvert-Lewin before the club did. Would that count? Because he'd not been seen in a Leeds United shirt at that point? Or are there other ways of information getting out to the public? It's not a case of just looking promising. It is genuinely a case of very, very big journalist has said personal terms are sorted. So in this case, it's a case of can we get the job done between us and AC Milan? And I think we can. I know we've got the funds available to do it. I know we've got the want to do it. But clickbait, you need to understand how content creators work. Right, okay, so at some point I'm tempted to do a stream that is just like explaining the YouTube process. Because there's... Because a lot of people use the word clickbait, right? And they don't seem to understand what it actually means and what like a title and thumbnail are and do, because they're very different things and they're quite important. Milan said they were keeping him. Did they? When? I feel like that would be a very, very visible highlight. Oh, God. Right, hang on. I've got to show this to various people. I'll see if I can find it. The only source that I can see that is actively saying that is africasoccer.com. And considering that Okafor is only half Nigerian, I feel like that link is probably not going to be the best. But I don't know. Don't give that any credence. It's people looking for a reaction. Yeah, I know, but still, sometimes it's nice to sort of give that look behind the curtain kind of thing, you know? Ryan Kent medical tomorrow at 12. Oh my god, I should do a video about Ryan Kent coming to Leeds. That would be clickbait. That'd do it. Wants to come to Leeds, and I think he's on the way for a shrewd business folk and do things on the QT. QT? So feeling positive he's on his way. Yeah, same. Why? Right, okay, what do you mean weak players? Because if you consider that he actively pulled our team apart when we played in that friendly, I'm not going to consider him a weak player, to be honest with you. I think it'll take 20 million euros to get the job done. But I know that we have 20 million euros because we've been offering that out for the likes of Pie Show. So I've not got an issue with that. I think we're going to get it done. Any news on Che Adams? Oh, so much news on Che Adams. Headlines, what you see in the thumbnails. Clickbaiting again is pure fantasy made up draw views. Yes. So, have I ever like clickbaited? Because I tend to try and like stay in reality. Trying to back you the clickbait. Oh, okay. I don't know. One. Ian has just caught up to the stage at which I was testing the sound, which is quite good. I have no time for clickbait and rumour. Right, okay, so in that case, you are free to go over to the club website, right? I'll even show you where to go. So if I go to Leeds United, there we go. And just press search little F11 and I do this. Right. So Leeds United official website. Let's go on to there. Let's go to news. Okay. So you are clear to just go on this site, stay on this page, and then from time to time, just press F5 and refresh it. And the moment something comes up, brilliant. But just know that you will be behind thousands of other people that will know the stuff before you because you've elected to be a little bit of like an information purist, and I don't understand why. Leo was off injured, but Jimenez has replaced not Okafor. I think that's okay. Very interesting. I think isn't Liao playing as more of like a 9? Or, well, not a 9, but like a left inside forward. So I think Jimenez fits that a little bit nicer. So I'm stuck between, are they not playing him because he's leaving, or are they not playing him because he's not right for that role? He's playing as a 9. Oh, in that case, like, yeah, it makes sense to not play Okafor, because Okafor's not a 9. So it's all good. I also like the humour in the chat. I like the way that we're just like bouncing off each other and like having a bit of a laugh. It's all good. I enjoy it. It's fun. Surprised no one came in for Chris Wood. I think it's because Chris Wood is a little bit of a system player. Chris Wood is a little bit reliant on the system around him feeding him a lot of opportunities. So I don't know. I think you'd need to sign in a player and then hope that your system is pre-built for that player to work. And that's a little bit of a risk compared to like getting a cog that just fits your machine, rather than like reworking absolutely everything. Lots of genuine source and journals. I'm sure we all know them, and we all desire genuine news. Even AI will give you genuine news. Too much hot air stuff. AI will not give you genuine news. I'll give you. Anyway, there it is. There's the first Alan Partridge. Every single time I have a stream that does reasonably well, I get the Alan Partridge, which is quite funny. I've got to be honest with you. Like, I'm past the point of feeling like insulted by it. It's all good. I'll give you a little bit of insight into work. So at work, someone is trying to introduce more AI stuff, and specifically I work around like football stats, football data, all that kind of stuff to do engagement stuff. Specifically, we challenged the AI to write a quiz that was about a match that was happening on a weekend. Fed it a bunch of data, and it came out with questions including who won the 2001 UEFA Super Cup, who won the 1970 World Cup, and a question about who won when these sides played in 2021. The teams had not played in 2021. So I would leave AI by the wayside, to be honest with you, because it's not great. Okafor news is not genuine. It's debunked. Has it been debunked, and by whom? I've not seen anything debunky. Which is a bit weird. What's everyone thinking then about tomorrow? I'll do my predictions and stuff in a stream tomorrow, because I'm kind of fancying a little bit of like a live stream preview kind of vibe. But I'm feeling sort of okay on it, you know. You gave me the link. Did you give me the link? I'm not seeing no link. But I've also not seen anyone properly shooting it down. I don't know. How many goals did Chris Wood score for Leeds? I don't know off the top of my head. I wasn't as much of a fan at the time. Fun little fact for all of y'all. I dropped out of really like watching football for a while when I was like at high school sort of age, because I was just like, I wasn't feeling it very much. Got back into it in university. My first match back was losing to Newport in the FA Cup. What a memory. And I was hooked ever since. I've been addicted to the pain. Right, Guy. Again, I've explained this one. This one, right down here. Hold on. Right down here. There we go. Sorry, Lord Protector, I'm accidentally pointing at you. But that one. Can't say 6 goals out of 36 without applying the context that the majority of those 36 games were off the bench, and the majority of those 36 games he was sat behind Rafa Leão for a place in the team. And if you're sat behind Rafa Leão, you're not getting in. And if they were playing a similar system last season to the one that they are using now, they weren't using left wingers anyway. So it's not even a system that fits a position that he plays in. And 6 goals in 1,300 minutes for a winger is pretty damn good. Thank you for the sort of correction on that one, Robert Hall. / the information, I suppose. Sorry, content jockey. Brilliant. Well done. Right, okay. A little bit more context. Thank you, Seb, for subscribing. A little bit more context, David, right? Rather than just calling someone a content jockey, have an idea of what sort of goes into it. One, I've spent a damn long time reaching out to various people on various platforms to try and find out more information about various things that Leeds United are doing right now. And because on the face of it, if you have a look at like my various accounts, specifically Twitter, a lot of people look at it and go, why would I tell you then? And then from time to time, you get a little bit of a breakthrough and you got to talk about it because you're like, cool, this is really, really nice. Let's have a little bit of a discussion on it. And to assume that we're not decent fans, I would agree, don't waste my time. However, I'm on a roll. I'm going to keep rolling. To assume that, like, people that do stuff online aren't decent fans, right? You do realise that the only reason we do YouTube stuff is because we love this stupid football club quite a lot. Like, we support the side enough to put our time and effort and, in a lot of cases, mental health and sanity into finding out what we can about the club, talking about the stuff that we like, and building little communities. So to just sort of say, yeah, well, real fans know what's true and false, and immediately dismiss a hell of a lot of very hard work and effort put in by a hell of a lot of content creators is baffling. The amount of stuff where I could have quite easily gone, yeah, I'll run with that story. I don't believe it's true, but it'll get numbers. I could have done that dozens of times over this summer, and I've not, because I don't want to spread what I think is bullshit. So, to sort of go, yeah, well, you're not real fans and all this, is I have a little bit of critical thought. Just a smidge. And you'll see that actually we care quite a lot about the stuff that we put out, and we make sure that we are as accurate as possible a hell of a lot of the time. So why did we sign him? Because he's good. Because he is a direct winger that is the sort of thing that we kind of need. We need someone that is willing to be pacey going forwards, challenge opposing defenders, because what we've got at the moment with Nonto as an alternative is Nonto will get the ball, and a lot of the time he'll just sort of like see the guy in front of him, not take him on, cut back and wait for support. And that's nice from time to time. But I'll say goodnight, I've made my point. Okay, that's fine. You can have made your point. But it's really good to see that you've not got any form of retort to what I just said. So, anyway. He's basically the form of profile that we need for a winger right now. He's someone that will be direct, that will get at the defender, and that will keep that tempo nice and high, which I think is really, really useful for us. In addition to that, being quite good, just being a good footballer, is a nice little bit of an addition. I enjoy it. Speaking of rumour and conjecture and using that fella from Stuttgart, Demirovic is a weird one because I don't think he's one that we necessarily should sign, but I think he's one that needs to be a part of the conversation, because if I didn't talk about it, it would be a bit weird. Very, 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 very good striker. Can play in various positions across the front, so he's not just a pure 9, he can sort of float in the line behind it. He's not like a dedicated 10. He's a bit Pirou in that sense, in that he can play here, he can play here, and he just floats. Not heard anything further on him today, but I don't know. We'll have to find out, won't we? It'll take a little bit of time. We need quality improving good players. We became a freak show of leftovers and players we don't want. I have had such high hopes to see. We've done quite well. I don't think you can realistically call Jacobi all a leftover or player that no one wants, because like Udinese kind of wanted to hold on to him. AC Milan wanted to sign him, as did Newcastle. Like, there's a hell of a lot of players in this squad right now that have been wanted by various people. So I think it'd be a little bit weird to assume that the transfer window is a massive failure just because we've not gotten the biggest name signings, because we've still got a hell of a lot of talent. Why isn't he for me? He isn't for me because of a couple of reasons. The first of them being, I'm not super happy with his club history, and I know that that's a really weird thing to point out, but if I go to I'll do it on here. Oh, what's the VFB? Is Stuttgart, isn't it? Yeah. Evan Demirovic. Let's go to you, shall we? The reason I'm a little bit iffy is if I F11U, if I monitor 2U. This is club history, right? So, started in the Leipzig youth system, went to Alaves on a free. 2 clubs. Loaned to Sochaux, who didn't want him to stick around. Loaned to Almeria, who didn't want him to stick around. Hold on. Yeah, I'm on 4. Loaned to St. Gallen, didn't want him to stick around, didn't make it permanent. Goes to Freiburg for 3.7 million. 2 years later goes to Augsburg for 2.3 million. Then has a good season. 2 years later goes to Stuttgart. That's 8 clubs in 9-10 years, which is a hell of a lot of moving around. And if you include, is that Hoffenheim? I think that's Hoffenheim. Hamburger. If you include Hamburger, 9. And that's quite a lot. And at the same time, I don't know if we need another 9. Like I'm coming around slowly to the idea that like the number of 9s that we've got being like Piru, Mecha, Calvert-Lewin, Gray. Because I'm considering Gray a 9. We're not going to need Gray at any point, I don't think, unless we're wanting to give him minutes off the bench. And I think if we're adding a 5th just to like feel like we've got a 5th, all I think we're realistically doing is adding players that aren't going to get minutes, which is a little bit of a risk in itself. I don't really like that. Joe does the work while watching Super Sunday, so we don't have to. I wish that it was just doing content creation stuff, because I'm not in the position to do it as a full-time thing, because in terms of like financially, like it's not viable. I'll be honest. For someone with what am I on now? 7,149 subscribers, it's not viable to do this as a full-time thing. So today I worked from, I think it was something like 8 till 3:15 with various like other bits up on a spare monitor and stuff to sort of keep track of if there is news and stuff. And then immediately afterwards it was a case of chase various people up on social media, stuff like that, and see what is going on with various moves. So yeah, it's oh, there we go. Stuart has only just there we go. Stuart's caught up with the thing that's going on. What happened with BEK? Okay, for, it was a thing I was going to do a video on in the morning, but I don't know if do I do it as a morning video or do I just do it now? No, I'll do it as a video in the morning, but for the now, because you guys are here and like I appreciate that quite a lot. How often do you get asked if you're Alan Partridge? Anytime that I do a stream that gets more than about 200 live viewers at one time. At that point, people are like, it's Alan Partridge. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Alcanus, I'm going to say, is one that is very much not likely, but I will run through the reasoning on that one in the video that I do in the morning, just because I want to sort of go into detail on it, and I'm waiting for other little bits of information just to make sure that I'm actually right and pointing in the right direction. I find it strange that someone here don't like rumours or speculation but are constantly on every content creator stream. Yeah, it's sort of like, okay, so if you don't like it, don't watch it. You've got free will. You don't have to be here. It's like you're not. I'm gonna get a shotgun out, hold you at gunpoint, and be like, "You will what? We're gonna sign Lionel Messi, aren't we?" And you're just like, "Yeah, I'll click on the stream." Yeah, that's not happening. You don't have to. You don't have to watch along. It's okay. I don't, Guy. I feel like you're spiraling right now, and I wouldn't recommend spiraling because you can be in a good spot. Don't have to just be a EK though. I think we would, I believe, because how old is he? Because if I can just eliminate it on the like birthday front, then that'll do a job. No, yeah, fair enough. Oh, thank you for subscribing, Sam. He fits within the age limit, but there is a sort of technical route around it, so you can't just like sign the best 20-year-olds in the world and have a squad of 70 players and then sell them and then do it again. No, it's fine. The Partridge stuff is all good. It's becoming a running joke. I made an agreement with my chat a while ago that if we signed, and this was like a week ago maybe, if we signed a winger, a striker, and a backup fullback, I'd do a Partridge stream. So it's okay. It's becoming a running joke. It's like genuinely fine. Where were we? Yes, but you need to spend 2 years at the club, I think, to fit into the under-21s thing. So that's the sort of rule. I'm doing the washing up. I need to do the washing up. I made some quite nice fried rice for tea. But, Graham going cryptic on X. Is he? Graham? I don't know if that is specific. Oh, thank you for subscribing, guys. I'm gonna do a Google Translate. Hajduk. Is Hajduk Croatian? Hajduk is Croatian. Okay. Koliko. No, is that Koliko? I don't know. A cart. Oh, is that Wovka? Koliko Wovka. How many sheep? Oh, Treba. How much do you need? What? Zamalo. Sorry? Probrosti. Okay, this is interesting. Just to you get rid of this one. Uh, are you, are you okay there, Croatia? What's Graham? I'm gonna print screen that. Apparently it's Slovenian. Okay, that's right. Thanks, Graham. I needed that. Thanks. Oh God, right. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Fascinating. Anyway, I'm gonna end the stream in a moment. Um, because I'll be honest, I'm a little bit tired because whenever I do streams and they end up with quite a lot of views, I'll be honest, get a little bit nervy, get a little bit spooked. And the streams go a little bit high energy, but it's okay. But I'm gonna leave that there, I think. So I hope you enjoyed the stream. If you did, please pop a like on it. We're 14 away from 250, so it'd be fantastic to cross that little bit of a border. You could subscribe as well. We're closing in on 7,200 now, which would be absolutely wonderful if we could get there at some point soon. And yeah, good stream. I'll do a video in the morning surrounding the Elkanus stuff if I get enough info on it in time. If not, it might be about the Ioannidis stuff. But we'll find out. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all later. Toodaloo.